Hi, I'm Jordan Fox. Recently, victims of deceased sex trafficker Jeffrey Epstein have spoken out against the Justice Department and members of the Trump administration for their handling of the Epstein files. After the DOJ's release of thousands of documents involving the Jeffrey Epstein case, victims of his crimes came together to speak out against how the current administration has handled the release of these documents.
A partial release of these files by the DOJ, riddled with improper redactions that expose the vulnerable and shield the powerful from accountability, is not justice. It is injustice.
Their complaint cited the fact that images and names of perpetrators were redacted and the identities of some victims were made publicly available, despite the DOJ's public claims that this would not be the case. One member of the Trump administration who received public backlash, both from Epstein survivors and from members of the media, is Attorney General Pam Bondi.
To Ms. Bondi, we are deeply disappointed by the way you and your leadership in this department have treated survivors.
Survivors accused Bondi of failing to properly address the survivors while simultaneously protecting their abusers. Members of the media also criticized Bondi for mentioning the success of the economy when faced with questions about the Epstein files. The DOJ has not yet announced when they plan to release more of the Epstein files. I'm Jordan Fox reporting for Jaguar News. Back to you in the studio.
As cannabis becomes more widely accepted across the country, some students are taking a closer look at what that really means.
On April 20th, also known as 420, students gathered at Governor State's Ingerson Hall for All the Smoke, Elevate Your Understanding, an event focused on cannabis education. While the date is often associated with celebration, organizers say this event took a different approach, shifting the focus towards awareness and safety.
I believe a lot of people smoke weed and just smoke it just to help them with mental pain, and they don't know the risk and how to use it safely.
Throughout the event, students had opportunity to hear from speakers, ask questions, and learn more about the effects of cannabis, as well as the misconceptions that often surround it.
I do believe events like this are important on college campuses because a lot of the student body kind of they use cannabis, and they should use it responsibly.
They created a safe space for open and honest conversation, and that is especially important as cannabis becomes more talked about. They hope students leave with not only more knowledge, but with a better understanding of how to make responsible choices.
The organizers say events like these are about giving students the facts they need to make informed decisions. I'm Kay Eisen with Jaguar News at noon.
Frightening scene unfolded at the annual White House Correspondents' Dinner in Washington after gunshots rang out near the main screening area. Authorities say 31-year-old Cole Thomas Allen was arrested at the scene after allegedly running past a security checkpoint while armed with multiple weapons, including a shotgun and handgun. Investigators say at least one shot was fired near the entrance to the Washington Hilton. One Secret Service officer was struck in a bullet-resistant vest during the confrontation. The officer is now expected to recover. Allen is now facing multiple felony charges, including attempted assassination of the president, assaulting a federal officer with a deadly weapon, and firearms violations. Prosecutors say the surveillance video shows Allen firing towards a Secret Service agent before he was tackled and stopped from reaching the ballroom. They are still working to determine a motive, and a newly released court document report suggests Allen may have been driven by political grievances connected to the Trump administration. Authorities say he allegedly sent a manifesto to family members shortly before the shooting. I'm Kay Eisen with Jaguar News. Details are emerging after a deadly shooting of a man during an immigration enforcement operation, as his family shares the devastating impact of his death. Joan Sebastian Duran Guerrero was shot during an operation involving immigration and customs enforcement officers. Officials say the incident remains under investigation while family members are demanding answers about what happened. According to the relatives, Guerrero's 3-year-old daughter was still wearing her bluey pajamas when she learned her father wasn't coming home. Outside the location where he was killed, mourners have created a growing memorial that includes flowers, candles, bluey blankets, and a stuffed toy representing the little girl's favorite character. The case has drawn national attention and renewed debate over immigration enforcement and the use of deadly force during federal operations. Authorities have not released additional details about the circumstances leading up to the shooting, and multiple investigations remain underway. I'm Kay Eisen with Jaguar News. Missouri community is mourning after 3 teenagers were killed in a shooting, and another teen is now facing charges in connection with their deaths. Authorities say 16-year-old Gabriana Boyster is accused of fatally shooting 3 teens during an incident that remains under investigation. Police have not released a motive, but investigators continue gathering evidence and interviewing witnesses as they continue to work to piece together exactly what happened. The names of the victims have been released, with the family members and friends remembering them as young lives taken far too soon. Community members have gathered to honor the victims with memorials and vigils while calling for an end to gun violence involving teenagers. Because the suspect is a juvenile, court proceedings could be handled differently than an adult case. Prosecutors have not said whether they will seek to try Boyster as an adult, and the investigation remains active, and anyone with additional information is being urged to contact investigators. I'm Kate Eisen with Jaguar News. A 13-year-old boy is recovering after falling about 50 feet from a Disneyland water ride in Anaheim. Officials say the teen was riding the Tiana's Bayou Adventure when he reportedly left the log before he reached the designated unloading area. Investigators say he fell into the part of the ride's flume system. Paramedics responded and took the boy to the hospital, and authorities say his injuries were serious but not life-threatening. Disneyland temporarily closed the attraction while crews inspected the area. The resort says it's cooperating with the investigation and continues to emphasize its safety procedures. The incident has renewed attention to the rules guests are expected to follow while riding the park attractions. Visitors are instructed to remain seated and stay inside the vehicle until they reach the official exit and receive instructions from employees. Officials have not said what caused the teen to leave the ride before it stopped. The incident remains under investigation. I'm Kay Eisen with Jaguar News. A Boston police officer charged in a deadly on-duty shooting is once again at the center of a closely watched court case. Officer Nicholas O'Malley has pleaded not guilty to a voluntary manslaughter charge stemming from the fatal shooting of 39-year-old Stevenson King Jr. during a confrontation in Boston's Roxbury neighborhood earlier this year. Prosecutors alleged the use of deadly force was excessive and not legally justified. According to investigators, the shooting occurred during an encounter involving a carjacking suspect. Authorities say that King was shot by O'Malley during this incident, leading to a review by state prosecutors. The case has drawn significant attention throughout the Boston area, with dozens of police officers and supporters appearing in court to back O'Malley. His defense team argues the officer was faced with dangerous and rapidly evolving situation and acted to protect himself and his partner. The prosecution, however, contends the circumstances did not warrant a deadly force. The case now moves forward through Massachusetts court system, where both sides are expected to present evidence and witness testimony in the months ahead. I'm Kay Eisen with Jaguar News. New developments are shedding light on the month-long investigation into the disappearance of Nancy Guthrie, the mother of NBC Today co-anchor Savannah Guthrie. Multiple law enforcement sources say a second note has been sent to media outlets just days after Guthrie vanished in February, claimed the 84-year-old has died shortly after being kidnapped. Investigators believe the note may have come from the same source as an earlier ransom demand that sought millions of dollars in cryptocurrency. Officials say the second message claimed her death was unattended and occurred during the kidnapping, but the authorities have not confirmed whether that claim is true. Nancy Guthrie disappeared from her home near Tucson, Arizona on February 1st. Surveillance videos later showed an armed masked suspect outside her home, but no arrests have been made. Her family continues to hold out hope, while Savannah Guthrie has made an emotional public plea for information. The FBI and local investigators say these cases remain active as they continue searching for answers. I'm Kay Eisen with Jaguar News. Writer E. Jean Carroll has now received more than $5 million 3 years after a federal jury found Donald Trump liable for sexually abusing and defaming her. The payment stems from a 2023 civil verdict in which jurors concluded Trump sexually abused Carroll during an encounter in a New York department store in the 1990s and later defamed her by denying her claims. Trump has consistently denied Carroll's allegations and has continued appealing multiple civil judgments involving the case. Carroll was also awarded an additional $83.3 million in a separate defamation trial in 2024 after another juror found Trump's repeated statements further damaged her reputation. The legal battles have become some of the most closely watched civil cases involving the president, with appeals continuing even as portions of judgments have been paid. Carroll says the verdicts represent accountability while Trump's legal team continues challenging the decisions in court. I'm Kate Eisen with Jaguar News. A Georgia prosecutor has been suspended after allegedly using AI to generate legal research that included fake court cases in an official filing. The incident is now raising growing concerns about the use of AI tools inside the legal system and whether attorneys are relying too heavily on unverified technology. According to court documents, the prosecutor submitted legal citations that appeared legitimate, but later turned out to reference cases that never existed. Judges and attorneys involved in the case reportedly identified multiple fabricated rulings and inaccurate quotations during a review of the filing. State officials say the prosecutor has since been placed on administrative suspension while the investigation moves forward. They warned that the situation highlights the dangers of using generative AI platforms without independently verifying the information they produce. The Georgia case is expected to intensify conversations about how artificial intelligence should be regulated within the legal profession as more workspaces adopt AI-powered tools. I'm Kate Eisen with Jaguar News. An 11-year-old Utah student is being recognized for a selfless act that's making a big impact in his community. After learning that some students at his school were carrying unpaid lunch balances, the young boy decided he wanted to help. Instead of simply donating his own money, he launched a fundraising effort and began reaching out to family members, friends, neighbors, and local supporters. His goal was to make sure no student would have to worry about missing a meal because of financial hardship. Ultimately raised more than $2,100 to help pay off the school's lunch debt. School officials say the contribution will ease burden for families who may be struggling with raising household costs and financial challenges. Educators are also praising the young fundraiser for showing empathy, leadership at such a young age. Access to the school meals is critical for students' health, learning, and academic success. For this Utah student, the mission was simple: make sure every student has the chance to eat lunch without worry. His efforts are now being celebrated as a powerful reminder that one act of kindness can inspire an entire community and make a lasting difference in lives of others. I'm Kate Eisen with Jaguar News.
The Academy Awards are making major changes to their rules, qualifications, and AI concerns for next year's Oscars. New rules and guidelines for award eligibility has been approved by the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences in filmmaking, limiting the usage of AI. With this, only performances by real, human actors can be nominated for acting category awards. For writing categories, works and screenplays must be written by real humans as well. In the past few years, there have been growing discussions and concerns about the integrity and usage of AI in film, shows, and even video games. So the Academy can now request additional information from production studios about how AI was used and how much human involvement there was. Another new rule now lets actors have the opportunity to be able to receive multiple nominations in the same acting category for different roles. The changes were announced this year and will apply to the upcoming 99th Academy Awards in 2027. For Jaguar News, I'm Jombia.
A widespread outage and reported cyber attack involving Canvas is causing major disruptions for college and university students during one of the semester's busiest weeks. Students across multiple campuses say they've been locked out of assignments, lecture materials, quizzes, and final exam information as the learning platform continues experiencing technical problems. The outage began earlier this week, with thousands of users reporting login failures, frozen pages, and missing coursework. Some universities have since warned students and faculty that grading systems and assignment submissions may also be affected. Faculty members are now scrambling to extend due dates, email assignments directly to students, and find alternative ways to continue classes while platform remains unstable.
All my classes are on Canvas, so anything from assignments to announcements to homework to grades, it's all on Canvas. We do use other software, but sometimes they're also attached to Canvas. So like GradeScope is one of them. We'll access it through Canvas. So that's kind of like the central hub for all of our work.
Company officials say they are actively investigating the issue and working to restore full service as quickly as possible. Universities nationwide are now monitoring the situation closely as students wait for the system to fully come back online during the critical point in the academic semester. I'm Kay Eisen with Jaguar News. After weeks of speculation filled by a new Nike ad campaign, Serena Williams is officially making her return to competitive tennis. The 23 Grand Slam singles champion is set to compete in a doubles at the HSBC Championship in London, marking her first professional tournament appearance since stepping away from the sport following the 2022 U.S. Open. Williams will partner with rising Canadian star Victoria Mboku at the prestigious grass court event. The announcement has generated excitement throughout the sports world, with fans eager to see one of tennis' most dominated players back on court. Williams retired as one of the most accomplished athletes in history, winning 23 major single titles, 14 Grand Slam doubles titles with her sister, and spending more than 300 weeks ranked number 1 in the world. She says her comeback is motivated in part by wanting her children to see her compete and enjoy the experience of professional tennis firsthand. While questions remain about whether this return could eventually lead to more tournaments or even singles competition, Williams says she is focused on enjoying the moment as she makes her long-awaited return to the sport. I'm Kay Eisen with Jaguar News. According to AAA, the national average price for a gallon of regular gas has climbed back above $4 as rising tensions in the Middle East push oil prices higher. The increase follows renewed military strikes involving the United States and Iran, raising concerns that the conflict could disrupt oil shipments through the Strait of Hormuz. While gas prices vary across the country, the national average has now topped the $4 mark, with some states seeing even higher prices. Analysts say if tensions continue or oil production is interrupted, motorists could see prices climb even further in the coming weeks. Higher fuel costs also affects more than just drivers. Increased transportation expenses can drive up cost of groceries, deliveries, and airfare, putting added pressure on household budgets during the busy summer travel season. I'm Kay Eisen with Jaguar News.
Is it good boy or good bot? New technology is changing how security can be managed in public spaces. AI-powered robotic drone dogs were recently showcased by Asalon Robotics at a conference in Las Vegas. Asalon's drone dog uses the base of the Boston Dynamics Spot that was released back in 2020. These drone dogs can serve as mobile surveillance units, helping monitor areas with humans in real time.
His eyes and ears all beam back to a security center where we have operators working 24/7 that are seeing what the dog sees, hearing what the dog hears, and then reacting to any threats that happen there on site.
They would have the option to either patrol on their own or be controlled remotely, working alongside human security teams during events and daily operations. Developers say that their goal with the drone dogs are to improve safety in high-traffic locations like stadiums, airports, and large public gatherings.
It's not a scary robot like in Terminator or AI, but what it does is it secures facilities and just keeps people from being where they're not supposed to be. We like to say it protects the people from the property, and it protects the property from the people. AI not only is going to be able to detect abnormalities or detect threats, and then AI at that point, again with human direction, will be able to say, call the police, call on-site security, these are the things that need to happen next.
Asalon's demonstration shows how advanced technology is becoming more integrated in modern security systems, now and for the future.
As massive wildfires continue burning across northern Ontario, community groups are stepping in to help thousands of people forced to leave their homes. Several First Nation communities remain under evacuation orders as crews battle dozens of active fires fueled by dry conditions, high temperatures, and shifting winds. Many residents had only minutes to gather their belongings before leaving. Across the province, volunteers, churches, food banks, and relief organizations are providing emergency shelter, hot meals, clothing, hygiene supplies, and emotional support for displaced families. Donation drives are also underway to collect everything from baby formula to blankets and pet supplies. Emergency officials say the number of evacuees has grown into the thousands as firefighters work around the clock to slow the spread of the fires and protect homes and critical infrastructures. While crews continue to monitor weather conditions and contain the flames, aid organizations say recovery will take weeks and many families still don't know when they'll be able to return home. For now, communities across Ontario are coming together to help their neighbors through one of the province's most challenging wildfire seasons. I'm Kate Eisen with Jaguar News.
Robots are soon getting a bigger role in the workforce, especially at Amazon. In London, a new generation of warehouse robots were unveiled. Unlike their predecessors, which was only limited to operating in loading dock areas, this new model can move throughout an entire fulfillment center and uses AI to directly respond to commands and instructions given in plain English. This update in technology and innovation comes from an $11.6 billion investment that Amazon made to modernize their fulfillment operations across Europe. This new robot is also designed to work alongside employees instead of replacing them, and to focus on more higher skilled tasks. Amazon also plans to hire 25,000 additional workers in their European fulfillment centers and hopes to implement this worldwide. For Jaguar News, I'm Jalen Pia.
From blockbuster Marvel announcements to major celebrity headlines, we've got the biggest stories making news across the entertainment world. Here's today's Hollywood Buzz.
Marvel is giving fans their first official look at its next blockbuster. The studio has released the first footage and promotional images for Avengers Doomsday, offering a preview of the film's massive superhero lineup. The highly anticipated movie is expected to be one of the franchise's biggest releases as production continues ahead of its schedule. Actor Ryan Gosling is officially joining the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Gosling is set to portray Ghost Rider in a film slated for release in 2028, bringing one of Marvel's most recognizable anti-heroes back on the big screen. The announcement has sparked excitement across social media as fans speculate how this character will fit into Marvel's next phase. Marvel also has another major casting announcement. Actor David Junson has been tapped in to play the next Black Panther, taking over one of the studio's most iconic superhero roles. Fans are already reacting online as Marvel continues expanding its future slate of films. In Los Angeles, a judge has ruled that there is enough evidence for a murder case involving singer David to move forward to trial. Prosecutors allege the artist is responsible for the death of 14-year-old Celeste. The judge's decisions means the case will now proceed through the California court system. David has maintained his innocence as the legal process continues. Sean Combs is reportedly being held in solitary confinement following a fight inside prison. Reports say prison officials moved Combs into a segregated housing after the altercation while the incident is investigated. The development comes as the music mogul continues serving his sentence. Meghan Markle is receiving awards despite mixed reviews for her Netflix lifestyle series. The Duchess of Sussex has earned a Daytime Emmy nomination for the program, which generated significant attention when it premiered earlier this year. While critics offered mixed opinions and streaming numbers slowed after its debut, the nomination puts the show back in the spotlight. Fans at a Jay-Z concert at the Yankee Stadium had to wait hours before the music finally started. Sunday night's show was delayed by nearly 3 hours, with severe weather contributing to the late start. Was one among those attending the event as fans remained inside the stadium until the performance eventually got underway. Lionel Richie is returning to Las Vegas. The music legend has announced a limited engagement this fall, giving fans another chance to hear decades of his hits during his residency on the Strip. And last, Katy Perry is speaking out after the White House used her hit song Firework in a TikTok following U.S. military strikes in Iran. Perry criticized the use of the song, saying it did not reflect the message she intended when she wrote the anthem. The post has fueled debate online over the use of popular music in government social media campaigns. That's all for your Hollywood Buzz. I'm Kate Eisen with Jaguar News.
There is a new app that is changing how content gets created and assigned.
Social Agent, a platform that allows people, clients from business owners, nonprofits, organizations, or more, to book content creators for on-demand jobs like filming, editing, and social media production. These clients can make a request, and a creator can arrive in as little as 30 minutes, and then are ready to shoot. The app connects social media users, businesses, and organizations with creators looking for quick, flexible work without the hassle. A typical job costs around $200, with available options for same-day delivery. Creators are earning about $50 per hour, plus tips. Here is what one creator, Abby Kurtz, says about the platform and the job.
What I look for when I'm shooting events is very crisp and clean content. I think I'm gonna give this reel like a really peaceful, calming feel, but also informative and inviting.
Marianne Rainey, a board member for the nonprofit Sutro Nursery, used Social Agent to book work for them. Here is what she had to say.
I know I can't do it myself, and I was certainly hoping that these young people would know how to do a good film.
The app is based in Los Angeles, California, with plans to expand to more locations around the nation. For GovState News, I'm Jalen Pugh.
Powerful tornadoes caused major damage across parts of the Midwest overnight, and the threat is not over. Storms hit areas including Rochester, Minnesota, Mason City, Iowa, Austin, Minnesota, and Madison, Wisconsin, leaving behind damage and debris. Emergency crews worked through the night, assessing damage and helping residents impacted by the storms. Meteorologists warned that more severe weather is expected to continue into Saturday, with the potential for additional tornadoes, strong winds, and heavy rainfall. Forecasters say conditions remain favorable for severe storms, urging residents to stay alert and monitor weather updates. Officials are encouraging people in affected areas to have emergency plans in place and be prepared to take shelter if warnings are issued. As recovery efforts begin, communities remain on edge as another round of dangerous weather moves in. This has been Noah Norris for GovState News. On Thursday, a group of Democratic senators led by Jeff Merkley of Oregon introduced the first ever Senate resolution urging the United States to recognize a demilitarized Palestinian state alongside Israel. The message is symbolic and unlikely to move forward in the Republican-led chamber, but it highlights growing momentum within the Democratic Party, especially among progressives critical of Israel's actions in Gaza. The resolution calls for a Palestinian state based on pre-1967 borders under the Palestinian Authority. Independent Senator Bernie Sanders signed on as a co-sponsor, and House Democrats are pursuing a similar effort. Recent polls show nearly 60% of Americans support U.S. recognition of Palestine, echoing moves by U.S. allies preparing to back Palestinian statehood at the UN. This has been Noah Norris for GovState News.